Steelers Nation, what's good? The Pittsburgh Steelers are full throttle as they work tirelessly to refine their roster and bring home another Lombardi trophy. From potential blockbuster trades to key draft targets and crucial free agency decisions, there's a lot on the horizon. But before we dive deep, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the latest Steelers updates. Now, let's get down to business. The Steelers are at the 2025 NFL Combine, scoping out the next wave of top-tier talent. Early buzz suggests they're keeping a close eye on two massive defensive tackle prospects, Kenneth Grant and Walter Nolan. Both players fit the Steelers' hard-hitting defensive style and could be game-changers on the front line. But here's the big question. Will Pittsburgh actually pick one of these standout defensive linemen? With other pressing needs, particularly at cornerback and offensive line, some fans are wondering if the team might pivot elsewhere in the first round. However, if one of these behemoths is available, it might be too tempting for the Steelers to pass on adding another young beast to their defense. Let's talk about one of the most talked about rumors in Pittsburgh right now, the possibility of trading for Jaire Alexander, the shutdown cornerback from the Green Bay Packers. The Packers have reportedly allowed Alexander to explore trade options, which could mean he's on the move soon. When healthy, Alexander is among the elite cornerbacks in the NFL. But here's the catch. He's had some injury setbacks over the past couple of seasons, and that's where things get tricky. Would the Steelers take the risk, and what would it cost? Here's what we know. Alexander still has 2 years left on his contract, but the cap hit is hefty. $24.9 million in 2025 and $27.3 million in 2026. The Packers could save over $17 million if they trade him after June 1st, making this a potential win-win for both sides. If the Steelers could land him without parting with a first-round pick, this could be a huge boost to their defense. So, Steelers Nation, would you be on board with a move for Jaire Alexander? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Another major storyline to keep an eye on is the future of Najee Harris in Pittsburgh. The Steelers have already met with Harris's agent at the NFL Combine, discussing the possibility of re-signing him. Despite declining his fifth-year option last season, Harris had another solid year in 2024, rushing for 1,400-plus yards, scoring 6 touchdowns, and hauling in 36 receptions for 283 yards. He's been a workhorse back since day one, amassing over 4,300 rushing yards and 28 touchdowns. The big question now is how much Pittsburgh is willing to commit to him long-term. Reports suggest Harris could command a deal worth between $7 million and $10 million per year. However, after declining his fifth-year option, which was set at $6.7 million, would they really be willing to invest that kind of money over several years? Head coach Mike Tomlin values Harris's toughness and durability, which could influence the decision. But with over $60 million in cap space and Jaylen Warren returning as a restricted free agent, will the Steelers shell out big money to keep both running backs? Moving to the defensive line, General Manager Omar Khan recently hinted that Keanu Benton could be shifting to defensive end in 2025. This change could open up all sorts of possibilities for Pittsburgh in both the draft and free agency. With veteran defensive lineman Larry Ogunjobi likely becoming a cap casualty, the Steelers are looking to solidify their defensive front. Benton's versatility makes him a valuable asset, and Khan has made it clear that Benton is capable of playing anywhere along the defensive line. But what does this mean for the Steelers? If Benton does move to defensive end, it would leave a hole in the middle of the defensive front. That's where the 2025 NFL Draft comes into play. This year's draft class is stacked with talented defensive tackles, and one name generating a lot of buzz is Michigan's Kenneth Grant. At 6 feet 3 inches and 340 pounds, Grant is a physical force who could anchor the Steelers' defensive line. The team has already interviewed him formally, which only strengthens the idea that they could target him with their first-round pick. NFL Network draft analyst Daniel Jeremiah has high praise for Grant, saying he's just scratching the surface of his potential. With an overwhelming amount of defensive tackle talent in this draft, the Steelers have multiple strong options, even if they decide to go in a different direction with their first pick. Pittsburgh's focus on the defensive line is clear. Head coach Mike Tomlin spent significant time at the Senior Bowl scouting defensive linemen, and team president Art Rooney, too, recently stated that the team might need to get younger on the defensive front. The Steelers are fortunate to have Cam Hayward, but it's clear that adding young talent to the line is a priority this offseason. Let's break it all down. If Keanu Benton moves to defensive end, the Steelers could have a dynamic young defensive front with Benton on the outside and a potential stud like Kenneth Grant anchoring the middle. This would give the Steelers a defense that could dominate for years. However, this move could affect free agency. If the Steelers plan to draft a defensive tackle, they might not be as aggressive in pursuing veteran defensive linemen. On the flip side, if they go a different route in the first round, signing a proven interior defender could become a priority. The Steelers have a lot of decisions to make in the coming weeks. Will they trade for Jaire Alexander? Will they bring back Najee Harris? And will they target a defensive tackle in round 1 of the draft? One thing's for sure, this offseason is shaping up to be one of the most exciting in years. We'll be here every step of the way to keep you updated. Now it's your turn. What do you think, Steelers Nation? Should they trade for Jaire Alexander? Should they re-sign Najee Harris? And which position should Pittsburgh target in the first round of the draft? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like